So credit scores are not everything. And having this to utilize at my beck and call whenever I choose is so liberating.
Hi, my friends. Welcome back to Your Money, Your Rules, where real people share real strategies that build real legacies. Now, I'm your host, Teresa Villaruz, founder of the Thrive Movement, where we believe wealth should fund freedom, fuel purpose, and create generational change. Now, if you've ever thought, I want to invest, but I also want to make a difference, today's episode is going to light you up because my guest is someone who embodies that alignment of profit and purpose. Now, Kathie Sonner isn't just investing in real estate, she's also investing in people. As founder of MyCat Consulting and the force behind multifamily syndications and mobile home park acquisitions, Kathie is on a mission to provide 250 families with access to affordable workforce housing. But what really sets her apart, well, she's been using infinite banking, which I am very passionate about, but she's been using infinite banking for over 15 years. Not just to build wealth, but to strategically deploy it in projects that change lives. From partnering on fund-of-funds deals to showing up powerful on platforms like YouTube and Riverside, Kathie is proof that your portfolio can reflect your purpose. Kathie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're glad to have you here. Now, let's go back to the beginning, if you don't mind. What was the moment that shifted how you saw money? Was there like a specific event, a book, or experience that made you think there has to be a better way than just working for money?
Yes, and it does really go back 15 years. And I met a gentleman who I considered to be a tutor mentor of mine, and he started teaching me the infinite banking strategies, and he gave me a book. He actually ended up giving me a series of 4 different books, and one of them was Creating Your Own Bank. And he would give me a book, and a couple weeks later I'd give it back, and he was like, "Oh, you read it." Sure, you gave it to me, right? So he'd give me another book and I'd read it and give it back to him. So we did that 4 times, and he kind of walked me through the whole process of how it worked. He wasn't someone that I knew really well at that time. So, my borders were up, my walls were up a little bit. I'm like, I don't know, who's this guy? I don't quite trust him. But watching his strategy, I went to a couple of his evening seminars with another partner that he was working with, and realized that, hey, this is actually a pretty viable option for me. And he laid it all out, showed me exactly how it was going to work, how it would start to increase year after year, and the paid up dividends and the different riders that I had available to me. And so I jumped in with both feet and ended up getting a policy on each one of my girls. My youngest daughter was so young, she didn't even have to have like a health exam in the house. No blood work or anything, because she was only 12. So that was kind of cool. And what's really neat is that her policy was so inexpensive at that time, but still carried that powerhouse punch of those, paid up riders, and putting in the dividends that just kind of recycle and help your money grow, and creating your money truly working for me in a way that I had never experienced before. So I was sold. I would tell a lot of people about it, and I'll admit most people were like not really sure what I was talking about. They're like, what does that mean? However, meeting you, and you speak my language, when I was like, yes, I know infinite banking. Yes, this is awesome. Someone who I can actually talk to that gets it. So yeah, that's been really fun.
That's amazing. Now, you've had your policies for 15 plus years. Tell us the story of like maybe one instance where you've actually used your policy to maybe invest in something, whether that's real estate or anything, actually used the policy for something.
Yeah, actually, I've used it, and my daughter has used it. So I used it to buy a fix and flip. So I was able to just step in and pay cash, didn't have to look to capital partners or anything. In hindsight, this was before I was in Pace's community. I didn't really understand the whole community concept. It was actually probably 8 or 9 months before I met Pace. So I used that policy money to go pay cash for my fix and flip. So that was really nice. That's fun when you can just literally call, for me, it was Penn Mutual, and say, hey, I need X amount of dollars. And within 5 days, it's just wired right into my bank account. I didn't have to apply for it. I didn't have to, I didn't have to do anything. I just had to make a phone call. It was that easy to get back my own money and utilize it in any way that I saw fit, because they didn't even ask what I'm doing with it. It's my money. So having that, and then I do turn around and pay myself back, and I pay back those, the interest and everything. And that's the whole thing about creating my own bank. That was something that I was taught a long time ago. He said, if you have a grocery store and you go shopping at your own grocery store, are you going to take those bags of groceries out the back door and not pay for them? Or are you going to walk up to the cash register and pay like every other good customer? He said, that's how you want to treat your policy. If you borrow a loan from your policy, make sure you pay it back and you pay your interest back, because you're paying yourself back. So instead of going to a bank and getting a loan and giving them all the benefit of that interest, I'm just doing that within my own little like world, right? In my own bank account. So I was able to utilize it. My daughter actually, even though I'm the owner of her policy, it had a nice big fat, cash value sitting there, and she needed a new car. So she's like, hey, can I borrow from my policy? And I said, sure, as long as you pay it back. And she paid back monthly payments with interest and was able to then utilize that to acquire a new vehicle for herself. So I'm also teaching, my kids how to use it and how to use it responsibly.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Now, you mentioned earlier that it only took, all you had to do was really call Penn Mutual and then request for the amount, right? And then within 5 days, you have it, which is amazing, because when you're taking out a loan from a traditional bank, it could take, weeks or even more than a month just to get a loan, because they have to do all these paperwork and, do, check your financial background, make sure that you have a W-2 or whatnot, which is sometimes hard for, entrepreneurs to get a loan, because they don't have that consistent, W-2 paycheck that most banks like seeing, right?
Yeah, I have an over 800 credit score, but I don't think I can get a loan. Honestly, like tax advantages and making sure our profit and loss looks really good at the end of the year so that we pay minimal taxes doesn't really bode well when a bank wants to give me a loan. And yet I have an over 800 credit score. So credit scores are not everything. And having this to utilize at my beck and call whenever I choose is so liberating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then also, because you're in real estate, right? Taking out a loan from a traditional bank, which could take forever just to get that money. And by that time, the deal probably is gone. So having to be able to get that money within 5 days of just calling the life insurance company can be a game changer compared to working with a bank.
Yeah, it could be the difference of getting the deal or not getting the deal.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, tell me more about this this thing that you're doing with the workforce, affordable workforce housing. How did you get into that space?
Well, I met a gentleman in Owners Club at our very first immersion retreat in Arizona in June of 2024. And he and I kind of parted ways over the summer. I was into other things and I wasn't quite sure what he was doing, because the session was just coming back in when we exchanged information. So I think it was like probably 2 or 3 months after that, officially, when I reached out to him. I said, hey, we haven't talked since the immersion retreat. I want to hear what you're doing, what you're up to. And it was the multifamily syndication. So it is, and it looks a little bit different for him. So I'm just going to speak to me and what it looks like for me. So creating workforce housing in an environment where there's, say, really high tourism, lots of restaurants, lots of fantastic destinations. The workers that work there, the waitresses, the bartenders, the clerks at the store, they have to live an hour to 2 hours away from that location sometimes. So you think about how that affects their family life and how that affects their health and all these things when they're spending anywhere from 2 to 4 hours in the car every day on top of their 8-hour shift that they just worked. Like, that's not really a lifestyle. So what I am doing is purchasing a hotel that is an extended stay hotel. So kitchens are already in place. converting those to workforce housing and having the ability for them to live where they work and maybe walk across the street and go to work and save 2 to 4 hours a day. Who knows, maybe they'll throw that into their side gig and be able to elevate their life too. But it's really exciting because these areas are highly dense populated areas, very popular areas. They're beautiful, and to be able to take something that's already functional as it is and just do some really nice like rebranding, color changes, some light cosmetic changes with paint and flooring and maybe some appliances, and it becomes a very easy conversion. And with the affordable housing crisis, there's a lot of initiatives across the nation that are allowing for the conversion from hotel in zoning, is what I'm referring to, like planning and zoning, because you do have to apply with the city or the county, wherever you're located, to have that zoning changed for apartment living. And what I've discovered through this journey is because of these initiatives, it's making it very, very easy. And another benefit of this is once we close on a property, we can continue to operate it as a hotel as we convert the different buildings. So we have this money play immediately when we step into it, where we can still cash flow and keep staff on site while we do the conversion to the apartment living.
That is absolutely smart, because a lot of people, when they're thinking about converting something, that cash flow has to stop and the cost will start piling up because of that conversion. But that's actually cool.
Yeah. Keep the staff, everybody in place. No one goes anywhere. And then maybe staff somehow works into, a position on our team as the property management, right? Because we do have, we have 100 doors or more as a minimum for what we're doing. And we need staff for that. And a lot of employees get nervous when things sell and it changes ownership, because there's always this uncertainty about what that means for them and their job. So it's nice to be able to walk into that and tell the employees, no, you're all staying. We need you. And there could be room for you even future in a different position, but still at this property.
Oh, I love that. I love that, because you're that, especially like in this economy right now where there's so much uncertainty, right? And a lot of people are very nervous, especially when things like this happen. Like a hotel being sold off. That's like panic that could happen with these employees. And how do you, I mean, you reassure them that they still have a place in your new business, even when you're converting it into a different type of model. Kind of, if you don't mind, just kind of giving me a little bit more of that journey, like if like someone wants to jump into something similar like you're doing, right? Like kind of paint us the journey of how do you go from acquiring to converting and then finally launching this co-living space for the workforce.
Well, I haven't walked through an entire process yet. So I'm going to ask you to promise me an interview in 6 to 12 months, and I will answer exactly what you asked me for that whole process. So where I'm at with it right now is we're still sourcing those properties that make sense with underwriting. So we use a portal called Cash Flow Portal. And I'll actually ask you to drop that in the show notes as well, a link to that. It's an AI generated underwriting tool for multifamily. Not only that, but you can also capital raise through that. It's kind of an all-encompassing, but our whole team transferred over to that just recently. And we are sending out, letters. We have actually 10 properties that we plan to close on this year. So once we get a closing under our belt and we've gotten to walk through that whole process, then I will be better fitted to go through all of that with you.
No, absolutely. Thank you. And you heard it here, folks. We're going to have Kathie in 6 months to walk us over that journey again. So cool. Now let's, you've mentioned that, you're sourcing properties right now. Are you just focusing on what you get from this portal, or are you looking for help from wholesalers? Tell me more about what you need right now.
We have 4 specific hubs that we work in. So we're in Arizona, We're in Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth specifically. We are in Tampa, and then Miami, Fort Lauderdale as one. So the property I'm looking at is in Fort Lauderdale area. And I will say for Florida, we won't go more than 2 stories high. So we aren't buying tower type structures. We're staying 2 levels only. So if there is a wholesaler out there or a seller finance creative at hotel that is the extended stay with the kitchens in place, we will look at others and consider them. But our niche is really having all of that already in play because it can be such a quick and easy conversion.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you're also a podcaster, right? And I know that you have this niche of audience that you're building this content around for. Tell me a little bit more about that and what got you into podcasting?
I am second year Owners Club, and last year, Pace had been coaching us to get on podcasts, like do podcasts, talk to each other. And to my knowledge, and to his credit, Adam Colburn was the only person I knew actively doing it. I was a little camera shy, to be honest, and I still am. I get on calls with new OC members. So go back to Squad Up 2025, and knowing that they were bringing in a whole new wave of Owners Club into our community, I thought, man, how am I going to get to know everybody? And it was so well aligned. I came up with the thought at Squad Up. And so to set myself up for success and to ensure that I would follow through on it, I was asking new Owners Club members to be on a podcast that didn't exist yet. So talk about putting the cart before the horse, right? And I'm like, I got home and I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Right? My feet to the fire. And it really, truly, for me, it's a beautiful practice of self-acceptance. You know, I can look at myself and be really critical and, judgmental, whatever, but being that I am now in front of the camera, talking to people, working the podcast, editing, doing all these things that I hadn't done before that I get to learn how to do. It's just really created more of like I got this, I can do this. It's built my confidence as well. So it's been twofold. I was hoping to bless the community with getting to know everyone quickly and efficiently by focusing on these new Owners Club members. And it's been beautiful. That's why the podcast is called Getting to Know You, an Owners Club exclusive podcast. So I focus truly on my guests, who they are, what they're working on, how they got there, and how can someone bring value to them. So they're really only like 15 minutes on average, and it's a nice little digestible clip. And it makes it easy to network with other people. You can email that little interview out to 100 people and say, hey, watch this. This is my Mount Everest. If you see a way we can collaborate, reach out. Let's get on a Zoom together. And it's kind of a speed dating in speed networking podcast style, I guess is how I see it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, you mentioned a few things there, and the thing that popped in my head was, Pace is really big on hitting 5 birds with 1 stone. And just from what you mentioned, one, you're getting to know more people, you're building your network. Second, you're creating content, so your social media, you're right. Third, it's helping you grow by building your confidence. Fourth, you're sharing and educating the community with the content that you're building. And fifth, self-acceptance, your mindset has been growing as well. So kudos.
Thank you. I've had a lot of encouragement from OG OCers from last year that knew that I was, kind of like bumping up against this terror barrier around this. And so they've been super supportive and reaching out, and it's felt really good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was actually a guest on your show, and to be honest, like that session was it was fun to do. Like you were like just coming up with the questions that are, very conversational. So I really love that about your podcast.
Yeah, thank you. And that's really the hidden beauty in all of this is like we're hearing your story and what you do and what you're working on in your Mount Everest. I'm like, we have an alignment. We have an incredible alignment. And I'm finding that each person that I interview, there's another alignment and another alignment. And it's really just growing my Rolodex in an incredible way. And I'm turning around and, helping to bring value to those people as well. Because if I don't precisely align with them, but I know someone who does, that's another thing I've had a lot of fun doing, is taking those podcasts, and depending on what they're working on, I drop them in our Discord channel that applies to what they're working on. Right. So I had a beautiful interview last week and with Megan Bailey. And she's like, oh, I'm integrator and visionary, kind of half and half. And I'm like, that's exactly what Heather Grizzard said. And she's looking for a team. And I'm like, Heather Grizzard said that she is actively recruiting for her team. So I put her show, Megan's show, dropped it right in there, tagged Heather. I also tagged Becky Plaza Peace, because Megan's niche is self-storage and she's an amazing underwriter. So I thought, you know what, there's something here. Y'all need to meet each other. So I love doing that. That's like one of my passions. That even with my daughters, like 10 years ago, my daughter said, wow, Mom, you're really good at like bringing people together. And it was cool for her to recognize that. She was a teenager when she said that, and for her to observe that in me and then actually verbalize it. I was like, oh, that's a nice compliment. Thank you. I accept that.
And you're such a natural connector for sure. All right. So you're connecting people. It seems like, you're working on a lot of tools as well. As a connector, now my mind goes to affiliate marketing, right? Because people that have needs, and people who have haves, and connecting people, obviously there must be a way to monetize this superpower of yours.
Yes, I actually have a pretty long blink. People have commented, wow, you have a lot of links on your blink. However, that is what we were taught, is that affiliate marketing. And if I'm out here talking about a product that I use and I love, and it's helped me in my business, why not monetize that? It's that referral that keeps on giving. And so, yes, my blink is very long. I have a lot of affiliates. Some great ones are fund of funds. If anyone wants to learn how to capital raise through a fund of funds, an incredible training by Carly, Christy, and Carolyn Briley. The cash flow portal, the AI underwriting of multifamily is there. And also infinite banking is there. Just some really great things to grow your business with. So, if anything that I've spoken about here resonates with anyone watching this show, please take a look at my blink and see what resource that you need in your business. And not only use my link, but reach out to me. Let me know you're doing that. I would love to talk to you about it and give you more insight about that product that I say is good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathie. This has been gold. And obviously you're a huge connector. So if people need to connect with you so that you can, lead them to the right path, connect them with people that may have what they need. Tell us how can they get connected with you?
Absolutely. Every single format that I have, or not format, social. So Instagram, Facebook, my YouTube, it's my first and last name. Super easy. I love the fun names, and my business is My Cat Consulting. However, if I just met someone a month ago and they're like, oh, Kathie, but what was her handle? I want them to remember my name and associate with who I am, and then they can look at my socials to see what I'm doing. But yeah, everything is named first name, last name. So Instagram DMs is great. Facebook Messenger is great. Or just send me a text. It's on my blink. And my number is still a California number because I'm a California girl at heart. It's where I was born. That's where I lived most of my life. However, I am now in the Midwest. Is this the Midwest? Probably called the South, here in Nashville, Tennessee. So, and I also co-host the Sub 2 Meetup once a month. I co-host that with Josh Smith and John Jones. We call him Big John. He's like 6'5". So yeah, check out our socials for that meetup. We'd love to have new guests, whether you're an investor or someone who's just investing curious. We'd love to help support you and get you on your way.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kathie. And friends, if you've been waiting for a sign to start building your legacy, this is it. So, true to the your money, your rules fashion, we're gonna give you one homework today, and your homework is very simple. Really make a list of your current financial tools and ask yourself, are they really helping you grow wealth and make an impact, or are they just sitting idle? Now, if you want to explore what it looks like to grow your money in two places at once, just like how Kathie mentioned with infinite banking, start by researching that, infinite banking, or reach out to someone like Kathie who has a plethora of tools and knowledge on things like infinite banking. I'll also include her contact information and her links in the show notes, so look out for that. And if this episode sparks something in you, maybe you've realized that your money has been stuck, stagnant, or small for far too long, I want to personally invite you into the Thrive movement. Now, we're building a $15 million capital ecosystem to help 5,000 people grow wealth smarter within 5 years. And that is by using a modern infinite banking strategy and channel that capital into real estate projects that create homes, hope, and healing. And if you want to learn to be part of that community that grows wealth with purpose, go to thrivebankingstrategy.com and take the first step. Now, Kathie, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your strategy, and your mission.
Thank you, Teresa. Pleasure.
Glad to have you here. And to everyone listening, remember, wealth is just about how much you make it. It's about what you make possible with it. So go out there, take control, build legacy, and remember, your money, your rules.